Childhood trauma, or complex PTSD, comes with two parts. The trauma symptoms, which are the trigger responses, the flashbacks, the nightmares, and loss. I've spent a lot of time on my channel talking about healing fears and flashbacks associated with PTSD. Today I want to talk to you about how to deal with the loss. Start with healing one trigger at a time. You can do this. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tamara Ridge. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm a survivor of complex PTSD from extensive childhood trauma. I help people systematically eliminate the impact of childhood trauma on their lives so they can live free from the fear of complex PTSD. And we do that using the power of curiosity. So let's get started. Inside the families where children are hurt, the dynamics of those families are such that the fragile egos of those who would cause harm instead of doing their own inner work is protected by maintaining patterns within the family that allowed for the harm in the first place. So if you were blamed for everything so that an abusive person didn't have to accept responsibility for their actions, that pattern of blame isn't going to stop just because you've grown up and have developed the skills to identify what's going on. If instead of being nurtured and taught that your own needs come first, your needs were ignored and you were expected to take care of someone else's needs, the person or people that were responsible for that will always maintain that demanding and inappropriate expectation of you. Please recognize that the very work that you're doing to heal after your adverse childhood experiences is exactly the kind of work that the person or people who hurt you should have done so that they could be nurturing and responsible and help you grow up unharmed. Think about the work you've already done to heal your trauma. Although it's well worth it, I know that healing from childhood trauma is work that requires an absolute commitment to yourself. It's really rare for somebody who's caused you harm to be willing to work this hard so that you can feel better. Unfortunately, that's the truth. And this is what brings me to the idea of loss. After childhood trauma, every survivor has feelings of loss about the kind of childhood they wish that they had had. And the unfortunate thing is that life brings us constant reminders of what we didn't have. Things like Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthday parties for our friends and kids that our friends have in their birthday parties and holidays and commercials and movies. They're all around us, the reminders. Healing the loss of what we didn't have requires us to grieve the gap between what we wish we had and reality. It's really helpful to identify what someone else did or didn't do to the extent that it helps you see what your strategies were that you use to get your needs met and how you might respond to other people when similar situations trigger you now. But the reality is that I found for most of us, it's much more productive to focus on what feels like a loss instead of constantly focusing on the other person's behavior. For example, did you lose your sense of safety, of security? Did you lose a sense of feeling understood or of belonging or of being loved? It's this loss that actually hurts and why you're having trouble focusing away from the abusive person's behavior. Identify what your specific loss is, and it will be much easier for you to focus away from the abusive person's behavior and wishing that you could do something to change them. Because you couldn't change the abusive person before, and you can't change them now. So focus on what you lost. Take the time to grieve it. We can talk in future videos about what that grief looks like, but give yourself some time to focus on what you lost, identify it, write about it, draw pictures, do whatever you need to do to help you realize just what's at the foundation of why it is that you keep focusing on the other person instead of focusing on your own healing. Let me know what your aha moment was from this video, if there was one for you. And of course, click the subscribe button if you found value in this video. Thank you for watching. Remember that you're precious. Be kind to yourself. And I'll see you in the next video.